Welcome to We All We Got. I'm your host, Derek Johnson, broadcasting from the Blake Annex Studio in Albany, New York. Check us out on your favorite social media platforms. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. Today I'm joined by, I have to say everybody's uncle downtown, a classic OG, somebody that's always been a supporter of mine, we've had ups and downs. He's been mad at me. I've been mad at him. But one thing that I could always say is I love James Tucker. And so I thought that it was nice to bring Mr. Tucker on the show because of what I've been watching from Mr. Tucker for the last several years, doing the best that he can to give back to his community. And it's important for black men and for young black men to see their elders in a given state. And, I've always felt like you gave to me. And it's beautiful that other people get to connect with the James that I know. And so today we're joined by James Pookie Tucker. And just want to say welcome.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to ask you a real quick question. Is to talk about your father and your father's impact on you and who you are.
Whew, that's tough, DJ. That's very, very tough. My father, he was, my father, I don't want to say he wanted to be a big shot, but back in the 60s, early 60s and some of the 70s, my father was a war leader downtown in the South End. And he was around the Cornyn regime. And there was some tough years. And it's just a lot of, that's why my brother asked me one day, Pookie, why don't you be a politician? I said, you see what happened to our father? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's tough. I see my father could have did more things, more things with the position that he was in. But during that era, it was only so much a black man could do, was allowed to do. So, he had the store, he had the bar, and he ran numbers, he had bootleg liquor, but he was also a politician. I remember when my father left, they called me down to the chief of police officer. They didn't want to know, was my father all right? They just wanted me to get a card to him, the proxy card, because they needed his vote for something. The hell with John Tucker. All we need is that proxy vote. So that taught me some things. And I grew up in the $5 era, where they paid $5 for your vote. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I got a different perspective on a lot of things, so.
The realness.
So.
See, I'm young enough, I was one of the young dudes that was allowed to hang out in your father's store because you couldn't hang out in your father's store.
No.
But,
It was old timers.
Yeah, my godfather was Larry Bolden, and his father was very close to your father. So that got me a couple more minutes than other people. And so, when I think about the Tuckers, I went to school with a Tucker. And I went to school with Derek Tucker. And
that's my idol.
Yes. And so, I just say, sometimes when you know the whole family, one thing you could say, no Tucker is alike. They all individuals in a good way.
Yes, sir.
And I say, when I thought about last night after the tournament, the Todd Holloway Summer League, that you were very instrumental in getting us to just go ahead and do it. There was a lot of talk about it, but I remember one day you said, DJ, I want to talk to you, man. We need to do something special for Mr. Holloway, man, and we should do a Todd Holloway League. And, just like that, it just happened. And so, when I was sitting over there yesterday and it was hot and you remember I was cramping up and I said, hey, Pook, I need a water. You know, I needed water, right? But when I went home and people was like, it's too hot out there, they shouldn't, did they have cooling stations? I said, yeah. We had Gatorade and water that was provided by James Pookie Tucker and Uncle Virgil Butler. And, you know, I just thought about us assuming responsibility for us.
We have to take responsibility for our own. Ain't nobody gonna do it for us.
Yeah.
You know, and we ain't begging nobody. We gonna just do what we do. We know what to do. We just gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like that little situation yesterday, right? Now, it's all about the kids. For me, it's just all about the kids. Mm-hmm. It's all about serving the people, yo. That's the era I grew up in, to serve the people here. You know, so for me, that's what it's all about. All that other stuff, take that somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It's all about them babies, yo. Them babies need us. They need us more than they ever needed us before in our lives. In my lifetime.
And I know when I was a baby, I felt like couldn't nobody touch me if you was around. If JoJo was around, I didn't feel like I had a worry or a want in the world. And so I always say to you, my heroes are people that I could touch, people that knew my name.
Right.
Like, listen, Dr. J is the man. You know, Chris Mullen is the man. But they ain't Pookie and Verge. They're not Obar and Shy. They're not Wooly Bear. They're not Go-Go. You know, I'm gonna include Go-Go's name in this, you know, because these are people that we grew up around and we all have love for each other. And as I said, you know, me and you and had our moments where, you know, I'm upset with you, you upset with me, but I ain't never put your hand on, I never put my hand on you, you never put your hand on me. And balling at the graveyard, what did you say when they were arguing? You said, my people are having
I forgot.
a political debate or something like that.
They're having a little debate. And they'll get it right.
And, you know, I feel like this podcast, the spirit of this podcast was to give those dynamic conversations that we're always a part of a chance to have second and third and fourth lives. And so I just felt like I wanted to bring you in here because I've had success getting people that normally don't like to do this. And I think that it's important that those people who don't like to get in front of the camera, those people that don't like to talk, they got some stories and they got some valuable information. And so, you know, I think about James Tucker as a CBA student. You know, I look at James Tucker and the one football picture that I saw of you, you know, and I'm just happy that, you know, at 56, you know, we are in a position that now through our ups and downs, we can't go back that way. And, you know, you remember when you retired, right? I remember when you first started working, I was so happy that you had a job, right? And, you know, I remember when you retired, I said, yo, Pook, who would have thought that Pookie would have a pension?
A 3-time loser.
Yeah, but, you know, not to look down. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm saying that because
I'm just happy I had sense enough to get out them streets.
Yeah.
That my mother said something to me that made me get out them streets.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
And I got to give you a chance to talk about your mother because I gave you a chance to talk about your father. So, you know, when I said your father, you said that was a hard one.
My mother hard too because how she came up, you know, and my mother was a strong woman. She raised 5 kids on her own, you know, and in some terrible times. In the 60s and them 70s, they were terrible times. They were, you know, but, you know, we had them rent parties, we had different things. But my mother always taught me about community, being strong, and being true to yourself. You know, my mother, my mother washed white women's floors to feed her kids. You understand what I'm saying? And I remember my mother, she finally got a job with the state. And she used to come home in the mornings tired, but she would go to to the Adult Learning Center to try to teach us the value of education, how important it was. And you know my biggest regret in life is, DJ? That I never gave my mother her God-given right to see me walk across the stage to graduate. That'll always be my biggest regret in life, that she didn't get to see that.
Well, let me say this to you, Pope. Your mother saw you take care of your niece, Your mother saw you be there for your family. You know, your mother saw the conversion that you made that you needed to make, right? And that's important. And, you know, the last part that I want to touch on with you real quick is you and I both attended one of the best celebration of life of a person that we knew when we went down to Radio City Music Hall.
We went to Webster Hall.
Webster Hall, yes.
Webster Hall,
yes.
yeah.
And they said the VIP.
The VIP, yeah.
That's, you know, because I remember some stuff, but I just want to see, you know, what was your experience like that day when the people from New York City, the people who knew who Derek Tucker, the employee was, you know, what was your experience? Do you remember that day?
I remember that day, and I always been kind of in awe of my little brother, Derek. You know, he was a quiet guy, but he was he had a very strong spirit, you know, and to the day he died, he had a very, very, very strong spirit, you know, but that day it showed me that Derek had he had another family in New York, and Derek was the man in New York. He was the man. They put my brother's name on marquees all over the world, yo.
Yes.
They made a room for my brother in Madison Square Garden called the Derek Tucker Room, yo.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
You remember what you said to me
I'm a
at the party?
project kid, yo. Huh?
Yeah,
Right.
you remember what you said? You said, man, I want to know who this Derek Tucker really was,
Who the fuck was my brother?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't mean that. But who was my brother, yo?
Yes. He, you know, as we graduated the same year. Derek was a standout on the track and field, but he played basketball against us. Never won. You know,
But he always tried.
But you know, it was just he was there, and you know, we all see great qualities about each other, and Derek was a guy that could have a conversation with anybody, and a real conversation.
Right.
So, you know, it's funny when I was getting my stuff out of my back of my car, I always take Derek with me. He's still, the shirt you gave me is still in the pack. It's just gonna be, you know, close to me, and I feel that you know he's there. You gave me a picture. It's in my apartment. You know, I love what you're doing in memory of your brother. You know, you have created some awards for him to keep his name going, and the energy around Derek. And like I said, I just wanted to really bring you in just to say thank you, man to man, you know, from the podcast. We all we got. And a lot of times, man, that's what I see from you, you know. Wherever I'm doing something, you pop up. You don't have a lot to say sometimes, but your presence says a lot. And I want you to know the value that you bring. Doesn't matter if you're coming from an IBM job, it's the consistency. You know, like you do this for real. And we are wanted to show some gratitude to you. I'm sorry that Uncle Verge couldn't make it, but this won't be the last time we'll be having this conversation. And you know, we all we got, man.
That's
518.
That's it. That we gotta realize. We all we got.
Yes. So thank you for coming through. And I look forward to what the future has to bring to you, me, and this great city that we live in, because we both know we love Albany.
Let's try to have a safe summer. Cut it out, youngins.
Yes,
cut it out.
Yes.
Please cut it out.
Yes. Put the guns down.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.